All right, guys, so this is Generation Talk. I'm a millennial, you're a
Gen Z.
Gen Z, and so there's different perspectives that, he has that I have, or just just ways of thinking because we're different generations. And I think that in the future, we're going to have guests right here join us and just kind of like pop some questions. By the way, I'm Rob. Nice to meet you guys all. You might know me.
I'm Angelo. I'm new here.
New to Miami. I've been here for 2 years. We've just we're doing some more content. As you can see, he's the mastermind behind edits to this, so it'll be interesting to see how this goes. But Angelo, tell us one thing that you think your generation likes that other generations don't.
There's a lot. Honestly, I don't really know how to name the differences because I'm not that fond of your guys's. Like, I don't know more of what you guys like, so it's hard for me to say that we like this different than that.
True. Sorry, let's just pause it there. We had a guest about to come in the door, but regardless, so I think, one of the things that I've noticed in Gen Zs versus millennials is the way you guys talk. I think cap, riz, all these things that you guys say are like completely new words that no one's ever heard of. I guess in my generation or even older, right? Where did those come from?
I don't know where it comes from. I hear them from people on the internet, and I think this is a funny looking word.
So you guys use it?
Well, that's how I use them. I know there's a bunch of people who actually they understand it and they use it almost in their everyday vocabulary.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I think there's a couple of them. There's cap, no cap. What else?
The ones I use most is probably cap, riz.
What does riz mean?
Riz is when it's when you're good at picking up girls, or you know how to use a pickup line.
It's like a player.
Yeah, kind of. So let's say you were to, I don't know, hit on a girl, and I'd say, he's the Rizzler, saying you know how to use riz.
Gotcha. So riz, and I never knew what riz meant until today. I've seen it everywhere, and I'm like, I don't even care to go into it, but it's kind of cool that I know now.
Yeah,
what else was another word?
It's like people would say, go rizz her up, or oh, show him your riz.
Show me your riz.
Go hit on someone.
What's another word? Cap, riz.
Cap is just oh, you're lying. That's an exaggeration.
Yeah.
I don't really know other ones that you guys aren't familiar with.
I have a younger brother, and it's about his age, and so he says all these words, and I'm like, wait, what? Shout out Jacob. But yeah, so I guess going off of that, what are things that you hear us say that you guys are just what?
I don't know, because my vocabulary, I feel it's more set with your guys's, because even when I hear this new vocab, I'm like, what does that mean? And I hear it from old younger people or people my age, and bro, you live under a rock. So I'm just sitting here learning new words, and it's might as well use it.
Do you think that has something to do with social media or there's your circle of peers? Why is that?
Probably just social media. People are gathering more information that way.
Yeah, got it. And so I guess, I don't know, if we were to have another generation here, what generation would you be more interested in learning about if we were to interview them for this podcast?
I'd say an older generation, so probably boomers.
Boomers. So if we have any boomers out there, we'd love to have you guys on. It's just really interesting to see the difference, right? Because I always thought I'm young, but it's now I'm getting older. I'm 30s, and it's whoa. And you're in your early 20, you're not even 20, and so it's pretty crazy how that significant 10-year difference is. There's so many new things, even the way you grew up with the internet, right? I mean, I didn't get social media until I was in college, which was early 20s, yeah, or whatever. You had it since how old?
I got my first phone
Since you got his first phone. So yeah, social media. That's crazy. I had a phone when I was 14. It took 10 years to get social media from the time I had my phone, right? It was a text and phone calling device for a long time before it became this crazy device that we all know and love today. I guess talk a little bit more about what's in your mind as a young Gen Zer.
I don't think that much. I'm just sitting here.
I don't think that much. Do you think that's a problem in your generation? Maybe you guys don't think that much?
Probably. Gets us in a lot of trouble.
One of the things I do say, a lot of you guys, from my experiences, holding conversation, it ends up being a little bit more difficult because you guys are so used to communicating through other channels, right?
Yeah.
Technology number one, right? And it's usually like immediate like transfer of emoji or text. Where in real life, like, I mean, have you actually sat with your friends and like talked to them for like 4 to 5 hours just talking?
Well, most of the time, like during school, like at lunch, we do have those conversations that like we carry on for like as long as possible.
Yeah.
But after like those conversations get cut off, I will admit, like we just jump in conversation randomly, stop, and jump in again, stop.
So do you guys ever like say, hey, let's like go to Starbucks, and you guys just sit across each other and talk for like 4 hours?
I'd say yeah.
You do?
Like then we have that connection. Like, oh, we know what we're gonna talk about. Let's just build upon that.
Do you just think that that's not very common, and that you guys are seeking it because it's not common, kind of a thing?
Probably, because like you see it a lot less now. Like there's a lot more people just sitting there in silence, just watching the other person.
That's interesting. So there's a lot of this, right, where we're just like,
yeah.
That's I see that too, and I'm like, huh, I wonder. And then I think it's going to be a thing where you guys are going to like seek more of the in-depth talks, right? Like I feel like my generation, I don't know, I'm not speaking for all of us, of course. I love long conversations. Like I love the fact that I can distract myself from my phone and have a one-on-one with someone and just talk for like 2-3 hours and not even look at my phone. I'm like, this is cool. But it's not common nowadays. Everyone goes to like lunch and like we're all on our phones and we're kind of distracted, right? But I think for your generation, it's even crazier because you guys probably do more of that than actually talk.
Yeah. Like, there's even jokes about it saying, like, dates nowadays be like, you're just both on your phone laughing at memes. And, like...
That's the date.
That's the date. Versus, like, days back then when they'd actually sit there, like, interested, just, like, listening to each other.
Huh. So there's some like, kind of like a notable, like, difference in the way you guys would see things.
Yeah.
Do you guys know anything different, though? Do you guys, like, even understand that in the back in the day it was different? Or do you guys just...
Oh, we understand, like, it was completely different. Like, people actually, like, they were in tune with what other people were saying.
How does that challenge you or, like, help you or, I guess, encourage you to seek certain things? Is that, like, a way of, like, fueling you, or...?
I feel like it builds this want that you want to have that kind of connection with someone else, too, like, where you, like, talk to them instead of constantly on your phone. But it makes it harder for us to have since all we know is just on our phone.
How do you guys think you guys can bridge that? How do you guys can achieve that, like, intimate communication being more common than not?
I don't know. Probably just like taking a big break from our phones, just actually talking to people, building that social skill.
This is crazy, yeah. Curveball, what if like there was like this camp where you went, it was like camp no phone? Do you think people your age would be interested in something like that?
Oh no, they'd stay on it. Like there'd be a group of kids that would like, oh yeah, this is really good, and they'd go. But over time, I feel like that would die.
Really? Just because the necessity for the phone?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
It's like the addiction is that much.
It's like crack. I don't know what that's like, but it sounds crazy. It's like, that's insane. So, little things we learn. I think we'll keep this episode short. I think it's the first one. It's cool to like, I get to learn about Gen Z. Hopefully he has more questions for millennials, and if you guys want to answer any of the questions, feel free to drop the comments. But Gen Zs, I would love to learn more because obviously I feel like I'm getting old, so I want to stay young like everybody. And so the more I can learn about his generation and future generations to come, the better it is for, I guess, all of you guys watching and me. But yeah, we invite some guests to come in, whether you're a Gen Z or a boomer or whatever. We want to talk to you. We want to chat with you and see what your thoughts are and just, have some dialogue. So anything you want to say to the people before we
bring other Gen Zs? I am not the best communicator.
He's your representation currently. He is the co-host. So if you guys want to bring any other Gen Zs to help him out, feel free to drop on in and give us a ring. But until then, that's episode 1. Hope you guys enjoy.